Anthony Joshua, Dillian Whyte said he will walk down Anthony Joshua and that Anthony Joshua is not the same fighter anymore. Man, let me tell you, dude, that is the one fight I want to see out of Anthony Joshua and Dillian Whyte. Let's skip all the nonsense and go straight to that one. And I will tell you who I'm rooting for in that fight, 100 miles an hour. But let's talk about what that and what Dillian Whyte said about Anthony Joshua in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. Hey, if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon. Also, I appreciate if you join the channel. Much love to everybody that supports on the Patreon. We got the new 2 series on Patreon coming out, Rewatch, where we go through and we break down fights that have happened recently and older fights that you might not have seen or you've seen before and just haven't seen in a long time. And also where we break down something called that we're coming out with called the whole story, where we're breaking down the entire atmosphere and development of major fight cards, the before, the during, and the after. And I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. So definitely check me out on the Patreon as we shift it more to a boxing focus. We'll also have the same old non-boxing stuff that we do on occasion for the people that really like that. But I'm really trying to focus and get a lot of boxing material up on the Patreon. So I hope you'd support me over there. Also, much love to everybody that comes by the live streams Monday through Friday and OG Boxing Talk on Sunday morning, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time with our boxing panel. We got a lot of boxing material that come around out of Fanine International Boxing Channel. I should do like KQKC and change it to network, but nah, the LDBC is my network. And this is my channel. We're putting out a lot of stuff in 2020. I hope you enjoy and support and go for the ride this year. All right, man, let's talk about Dillian the dope fiend doing dope. Don't know the meaning of water, no soap. I have no love for Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte talks a lot and he's a dirty fighter in my book. Okay, he talks a lot and he's a dirty fighter in my book. Don't like the guy at all. Can't wait for him to lose. Okay. And it's completely 100% stemming behind all of this nonsense that's going on with him and Deontay Wilder, and it went over the top when he tested positive for D-ball, and the British Boxing Board of Control let him off the hook with an explanation, something that nobody should get away with. If you have D-ball in your system, it's your responsibility how something gets in your system. You should be punished for that, period. You shouldn't be allowed to get into a fight and then not only get in the fight with that situation, but get in there with gloves that were not approved by the other side. It was just absolutely completely ridiculous. Now, he also running around telling this story about how he's been the mandatory for 600 days when anybody and everybody knows that that's not the case, because Deontay Wilder during that same 600 days that he's talking about fought 2 mandatories, Bermane Stiverne and Dominic Breazeale. So how could Dillian Whyte have been the mandatory at the same time that Dominic Breazeale was the mandatory, and at the same time that Bermane Stiverne was the mandatory? I don't understand how that could happen, and neither do you, because it didn't. What he got named to be the number one. He became the number 1 contender through some machinations on the part of Eddie Hearn, and wound up being in a position where he was the number 1 contender. But the number 1 contender is not the same thing as the mandatory challenger. A mandatory challenger is somebody that the WBC orders you to fight. So when they said that they were the mandatory for 600 days, they were saying that the WBC had ordered Deontay Wilder to fight him, which is just a lie. So the dude's not only just a dirty fighter, not just a dirty fighter and a crybaby, he's also just a flat out liar. And he ducked Luis Ortiz because he had the opportunity to fight Luis Ortiz because that was mandated by the WBC and he ignored it. So the only person of the two between Deontay Wilder and Dillian Whyte to duck a mandatory was Dillian Whyte, who ducked Luis Ortiz when the WBC mandated that they fight one another, and he just said no. Okay, so Dillian Whyte just got no time for Dillian Whyte, man. I got no time for Dillian Whyte. Got no time for Dillian Whyte his fans, which probably aren't really fans of his. They're probably just people that like Anthony Joshua and don't like Deontay Wilder. But anyway, so Dillian Whyte comes out and said, yeah, I got to go in on Dillian Whyte, man. Dillian Whyte I just don't like the dude, man. Don't like the dude. He's got a fake brother. I mean, what kind of guy has a fake brother? What grown man has a fake brother? Dean White, and it's not his brother. Man, and they don't look nothing like each other either, by the way. Don't look nothing like each other, aren't actually brothers, but somehow Dean White changed his name to White, to fake like he's Dillian White's brother. Inquiring minds want to know, homie. That don't make sense. But on to my Dillian Whyte diatribe. You can tell who I'm going for in a fight between Anthony Joshua and Dillian Whyte. It's Anthony Joshua. But Dillian Whyte, in his usual crap talking manner, brings out a very solid point. He did bring out a solid point about Anthony Joshua, and that Anthony Joshua doesn't look like the same fighter anymore. And I can definitely say that's the truth. When he fought Andy Ruiz in a rematch, that he didn't look like the same fighter, but it's not like he looked like he was damaged goods, or it looked like, just physically that he wasn't the same person. He just looked like he fought in a different way against Andy Ruiz, and he was not leaving anything to chance. He wanted to walk out with those belts. So he fought in a way that was kind of a stick and move style, which actually showed a good amount of versatility on the part of Anthony Joshua. Truthfully, because Anthony Joshua, I don't think he was ever a guy that was really just walking guys down, but he was much more willing to exchange. He would box from the outside, box it really kind of from mid-range, and hit you with big right hands, hit you with hooks, hit you with one of the nastiest uppercuts I've ever seen. I mean, I've not had occasion to compliment Anthony Joshua a lot over the last year or so, 2 years really, with all this Deontay Wilder stuff going on. But hey, man, truth be told, that uppercut is one of the wickedest punches in boxing, man. That guy will literally spring your head up off your shoulders with that uppercut. It's something fierce. But there's obviously going to be questions about whether or not he is ever going to have the self-confidence that he had before the Andy Ruiz fight, before he got knocked down 4 times and quit up against the ropes against Andy Ruiz. It is reasonable to question that. Now, as far as Dillian Whyte goes, though, I'm not buying it, because I don't think Dillian Whyte is Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz is a very, very good counter puncher. He's got very fast hands. He's definitely willing to sit in there in the pocket. And Anthony Joshua's got a bit of a funny chin, and Andy Ruiz found it. I don't think Dillian Whyte is gonna take that route. And you ever heard somebody say this on a video? I'm sure you have, where you see somebody doing some type of backflip, or some real tricky run, really some type of trick jump on a bicycle, and they put the warning up there: do not try this at home, right? Or a car, like a car commercial where the guy is driving and wind up doing all these donuts and skids, and puts the car perfectly in this little gap between 2 other cars, and they say, professional driver, do not try this at home. That, my friend, is the approach that Andy Ruiz took to Anthony Joshua in that fight. Do not try that at home, okay? Just because Andy Ruiz pulled it off doesn't mean Dillian Whyte can pull that off. But I would love nothing more than to see him do it. I say give the WBO belt give the belts away and let Anthony Joshua fight Dillian Whyte right now, so one or the other of them dudes can go away. Personally, I would prefer it to be Dillian Whyte to go away, because Anthony Joshua, the only sin that Anthony Joshua has committed in my eye relates to Deontay Wilder. As far as I can see, that's the only thing. He didn't want to fight Deontay Wilder. Eddie Hearn didn't want him to fight Deontay Wilder. So Anthony Joshua was just saying a bunch of stuff and just jumping up. Yeah, all that stuff is related to Deontay Wilder and what I believe to be just do not want to get near that dude because you don't want to lay flat out on your back twitching. Speaking of other stories that Dillian Whyte is telling and other reasons not bringing up old sparring stories from 8 years ago that may or may 10 years ago that may or may not be true, as if you were up in there beating up Vladimir Klitschko. But it is what it is. I want to see the fight. I don't know if Dillian Whyte is really. I don't agree with the fact that Anthony Joshua can never be the same again. I think he probably is the same, but it's just that people know what he is, are more clear on what he is than they were before. He's always had a funny ass chin. Okay, I thought he got wobbled with body shots by Joseph Parker, and I believe that he got wobbled before by Dillian Whyte. And I know he got knocked down by Vladimir Klitschko. So the fact that he got knocked down by four times by Andy Ruiz, although it was a surprise, shouldn't be was not completely out of the realm of possibility. And neither will it be going forward. But he does show the boxing skills and the ability to fight on the outside against a little fat dude named Andy Ruiz for sure. So the dynamics could change, but hey man, he showed that he was a comeback kid. I have no problem with that, but I would love to see him beat Dillian Whyte. I would pay pay-per-view. I would go find somebody in the UK to pay them money so I could buy their pay-per-view while I stream that crap on DAZN. Anyway, it is what it is. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.